Hey downtown van.
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 You're listening to Hey Downtown Van, hosted by the Downtown Vancouver BIA.
Hey Downtown Van, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I'm your host, Sofia Laratta, and today joining us are two passionate individuals, William Donnellan and Lacey from IRL Group. IRL Group is Vancouver's premier corporate group known for its dynamic presence across hospitality, construction, and events, all built on a foundation of authentic Irish values. We're really excited to have them both on the podcast today, and let's get into the episode. William and Aaron, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
You're very welcome. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Of course. So for our listeners who might not know what IRL Group is and who you two are, do you mind just introducing yourselves and a little bit about the company?
Sure, I can introduce myself and then I'll let William talk about the company. My name's Aaron. I'm the Director of Operations with IRL Group. I've been with IRL about 5 years now. Originally from Ireland, if you couldn't tell from the accent. And yeah, I moved to Vancouver about 8.5 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
So my name is William Donnellan. I am the President and the CEO of IRL Group, a group that specialises in hospitality, development and contracting. So a lot of construction work. I'm a carpenter by trade, came here from Ireland also in 2009 for a month. True story. I was on my way to Toronto with my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, and here we are 17 years later. We never left.
Wow. There's a big Irish community in Vancouver.
Yeah, it's kind of exploded, I'd say, in the last, probably kind of since I arrived in 2017. It really, kind of exploded. It was like one of the go-to destinations, I think, for people that were emigrating from Ireland.
Interesting.
I think Irish people just have always had a history of emigrating. So I think, it was a kind of almost a toss-up for people between here and Australia. Australia always seems to be a pretty popular place as well for the Irish. But yeah, I mean, the Irish community's definitely grown a lot here. Even when, like myself and William, we play hurling, which is an Irish sport.
Cool.
So I think when I arrived in 2017, there was 2 clubs between hurling and Gaelic football, which is another Irish sport. And now there's like 9 with like multiple teams, and it's just exploded. And I think when William arrived, there was probably 1 team. So it's definitely grown quite a lot over the last number of years for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what's the story behind IRL Group and how did it come about?
So IRL Group stands for It's Really Laura's. Laura's my wife.
Oh.
That's not a true story.
Oh, I was like, that's so cute. I love that.
I guess it does now, since we've been 22 years together. But IRL is an abbreviation for Ireland. And we just thought that it would be a good name, easy to remember. We liked the colour green. We started out in construction when we got here. And then we branched into hospitality. But our family back in Ireland have been in construction for generations. Like Smiths in Gastown, our pub, which is next to the Blarney Stone, used to be the old Irish Heather, 208 Carroll Street there. That is the third Smiths in 3 generations, and that's my mum's maiden name. So our hospitality roots go back a long way. As I said, I'm a carpenter by trade. My dad's side of the family then were all in construction. So my parents had 10 kids. For a big family.
Wow.
I was the only one that didn't go to university. Instead, I'd done an apprenticeship in carpentry, and I went into construction. And people ask me all the time now, if you were doing it again, would you do the same thing? And I say, absolutely. I am a big advocate for trades and construction. And I think, in the very near future, trades will be making more money than surgeons. I really do.
Yeah, no, I believe that. And I think moving to British Columbia, there's a lot of people here that are in the trades compared to when I lived in Alberta. And I don't know really what that is, but people in trades make a lot of they make good money.
They do. They do, yeah. I remember when I started here, and I had a construction company in Ireland, and we had a pub, and our lease ended. And we said we'd go and travel for a few months, and we shelved the construction company. I was almost 25 at the time, and we were just going to travel for a few months. And I started working with a great company on Granville Street, and I think it was either $15 or $16 an hour I started on. And I was coming from having my own company in Ireland And, I thought, that's pretty good. These guys are going to give us, part of the package was you had to be available to work every day, so 7 days a week.
Wow.
We were getting ready in 2009 for the Olympics in 2010. So if you remember Granville Street, there was huge construction, major work going on there. So I was thinking, if I get $15 or $16 an hour and with all of the time and a half and the double time, I'm going to do really well at the end of the week. So when I tell that story to people now who come here, who maybe just starting out in construction with no experience, and they're thinking, well, I want $30 an hour to start, and some of them will get that because there's not too many people going into the construction industry, but there's a lot of people leaving and retiring each year. So it's a real concern.
Why do you think that is?
People like to be inside. I think one of the main things, maybe there's a bit of a stigma there about safety. You're out on a construction site, there's equipment, and that's real. But, in this day and age, every site has, safe work procedures and CSOs, certified safety officers, and they're very safe places. They have to be. And everyone gets orientations and gets training, and, they're a pretty safe place to work. In my opinion, you could be working in an office and, you go for lunch, you're crossing the road. It's no difference to working on a construction site. But the winter time as well, you're out in the elements when it's cold, when it's wet. And, at times you're questioning your decisions.
Yeah.
And each winter, wouldn't it be nice to be in an office now? But in the summer, I think it's fantastic. And I think just to be out in the fresh air, to get that exercise, there's always... or most of the time anyway, there's a good morale out there, and the teams are, end up getting very close and they work well together, and they make it fun as well, which is very important.
That is super important.
I think part of it as well is kind of comes from schools, even from high schools, is kind of how do, the career guidance, the teachers kind of help promote the trades, right? Because sometimes even back in Ireland, it was, there might be a bit of a stigma around, you're going to be like an electrician or a carpenter, whereas like it's an unbelievable career.
Yeah.
And like the career journey you can get from being in the trades is phenomenal. A lot of people don't see that, where you can go from being a labourer to a carpenter to a foreman to a site superintendent to a VP construction. Like a good example is our VP construction, Mike. He's been working with us, 10 years. He started out as a carpenter and now he's our VP of construction,
Wow.
So those roots are there for people. And I think kind of portraying that and getting that story across, whether that's in high school or whenever it might be, I think there's probably a bit of work to be done there as well.
Yeah. Do you have a history in trades too?
Me? No, not so much. I've done a bit of construction work. I did construction studies in school.
Oh, cool.
But no, less so actually out on site. So I'm more of a... in the office guy, but I'm in and out to the sites as well. But more just operations is kind of my forte, and HR I kind of started doing a lot on the HR side when I first came into IRL, and it's kind of transitioned into more operations. Yeah,
that's awesome. So with operations spanning construction, property development, and hospitality, how do you balance all of that and maintain one identity as a company?
I'll start. I think the answer is by being organized and being disciplined. We have a rule in our office where, prioritize, make sure your priorities go into your calendar. Schedule your priorities, don't prioritize your schedule. And for me, if it's not in my calendar, it won't happen. So, I'll sit down at the end of every day or before I go to sleep at night and just check and see what's happening tomorrow. So I know, okay, these things are happening, and just always looking at my calendar throughout the day, and planning. Like if with the proper planning, you can save 50-60% of your time in any project. So I think just being organized, being efficient, having the right people, and things change. You head into the office and you say, okay, this is my plan today. I got to do these 7 things, but things happen, and something goes sideways, and you have an emergency and you have to deal with that, and that'll happen on a regular basis. But you have to plan. It's like if you're driving around a city and you don't know where you're going and you have no GPS, you're just going to go around in circles and spin your wheels. And it's the same in business, in my opinion. You got to be really organized and you got to take it serious.
Yeah, I think for us as well, because we, as you said, we work across a few different sectors. having a strong marketing team. So we're lucky to have a great marketing team in IRL and kind of portraying the story of, okay, we do this, this, and this. And yes, they're quite different, the industries, but there's also a lot of similarities. And at the end of the day, when we have one employee handbook, that's kind of like our Bible, right? And that covers, that's for everybody. We don't have one for hospitality. We don't have one for construction. It's for everybody. We all kind of follow the same values. At the end of the day, it's service and, you know, providing a great service to your customer and your clients, whether that's someone pouring a pint for a customer in the pubs or someone building a house out on site, right? At the end of the day, we're just kind of striving to provide the best possible service to our clients and our customers, because at the end of the day, they're the people that keep coming back, and that's what kind of makes you successful, you know.
And how involved are either of you with the front of house side of the hospitality? Like, are you in your establishments? Are you working with the front of house teams? Or do you have a team to help you with that?
Yeah, we have a team. We'd have a general manager and a bar manager essentially in each location, and they're kind of managing the day to day. But we are pretty involved. Like we meet every 2 weeks with all of our managers. We all sit down and we say, okay, everybody comes with all their agenda items. This is what we want to talk about. These are some of the problems. This is what we need to do. I suggest we should do this, and whether it's something to do with changing something on the menu or whatever it might be. We all sit down, like myself, William, Laura, our marketing team. Everybody's there. So we're all kind of on the one page. And then we're in and out of the pubs ourselves as well. But I think we're lucky in a sense where we're so lucky to have unbelievable general managers and our bar managers. We have an excellent team, and so we don't have to be worrying about what's going on, what's happening in the pub on Saturday night. We know that they're going to be doing a great job in what they're supposed to be doing. So I think that definitely makes our lives a lot easier as your team.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And we are, as Aaron said, very involved on a daily basis, and they know we're there to support them with whatever they need. But we don't micromanage. You know, we trust in our people. We manage the numbers, not the process. And they like that too. So, you know, this is your location, run with it. You know, what do you think we should do? Just let's try and make some money at the end of the month, because, you know, at the end of the day, we have to be profitable to survive and to keep going. Yeah. So it works pretty well for the most part.
Yeah, that's great. And we can go into like Granville Street and all of that in a bit. Actually, right now, Granville Street has long been the heart of Vancouver's entertainment district. How do you feel about the current Granville plan and its potential to revitalize the area? And maybe for the people that are listening that don't know where your businesses are in Vancouver, and maybe give a little bit of background for that too.
Okay, I'll start real quick. As you know, yesterday we had, I was on the panel for the Granville Street Road Ahead, and down at the Rec Room, and what a great addition that has been to Granville Street. Great neighbour, and I hope they do really well. I wish them all the best. Super space. We had the joy of working on that project actually.
Oh, nice.
With Heather Bray Builders and VDK Masonry. So
that's great.
We were involved in that with our construction leg. But I am very bullish towards Granville Street. I genuinely think that Vancouver is one of the top 10 cities in the world, and my favourite street in Vancouver is Granville Street. I was at a Whitecaps game about a week ago with our 8-year-old son, and we purposely walked down Robson and onto Granville, you know, at 9 o'clock at night, and down to Donnellan's. I wanted to show him what it's like at night time, and I said, you know, isn't this a really cool energy, and look at the lights, and you know, the street was busy, and yes, we've had our challenges, but most major cities in the world, you know, have also. The pandemic happened, which is nobody's fault. Yeah. And that really put us back a long way. When I think back of, we opened up Donnellan's on Granville Street, 1082 Granville Street, so on the 1000 block there. 2016, we took on that space. It used to be the old stone temple. Most people will know that. And, you know, 2017, 2018, 2019, when I think of those years, they were phenomenal. Granville Street was buzzing, all the work that went into it for the Olympics, and I felt so sorry for the city, to be honest, that the pandemic happened, and then it was like, you know, the buildings were empty, most of them. People just couldn't keep going, and businesses went under, and with all the vacancies, you know, it attracted some of the wrong people, and it got a bit messy down there. But it's getting better. And I have no doubt that, in the next 6 months, we're going to see major transitions to Granville Street, because we have to. In 8 months' time, in the middle of June, we have the World Cup coming here, and we're going to be on the world stage, the biggest sporting event in the world. We're expecting 1 million visitors. When you put that into perspective, we've left less than 100,000 people downtown. That's going to be
Crazy.
huge.
Yeah.
The Olympics was crazy, and that was so much fun. And this is going to be like 10 Olympics. So, it's good that we have that little bit of pressure, I think.
Yeah.
But we need to beautify Granville Street. We need to get the right mix of tenants there, people there. And if we bring good people like the Rec Room, like a lot of the businesses that have been there for 20 plus years already and survived through the ups and the downs.
Yeah.
If we get more people like that and streamline the process to help them get set up, Granville Street, I have no doubt, will get back to its former glory.
And apart from our downtown van, the Business Improvement Association, who do you think are the key stakeholders in the steps to get businesses like Rec Room and like Donnellan's back onto Granville Street?
Well, downtown van, the city of Vancouver. Whoever can help streamline the process for them, because what they need in a nutshell is support. The two most important things in any project is time and money. So how can we speed up the permit process? How can we make it less costly? So, for example, anyone that's not familiar with the Granville Street Master Plan, that 1000 block where we are, what that plan basically states is that, we hope to have major hotel groups in that area, and they'd be focused in that block. So how are we going to attract them? How can we save money for them? Let's say DCCs, development cost charges. Can we reduce them? Can we give them, some tax breaks?
Right.
Can we streamline the permit process so it doesn't take so long and it's not so onerous? And there's lots of ways that we can help them. And I believe if we do help them, and if we have the right people approach them, not wait for them to come, go and approach them and say, we have these 2 or 3 properties here. And I should mention that a lot of the properties on Granville Street, maybe most of them, are unsafe. They need major seismic upgrades.
Yeah.
And the owners of those properties don't have the money to put into them.
Right.
And you can see they're falling apart. And they have to be brought up to code. And there's probably 5 groups, organizations that are capable of coming in and doing a really good job. So we know who they are.
Yeah.
And the right stakeholders need to go and talk to them and attract them to Granville Street. Granville Street is a phenomenal street. I remember coming here in 2009, getting off the plane at YVR, jumping into a taxi, and where do you go? Can you please bring me downtown? You go straight up Granville Street.
Yeah.
And that's people's first impression. Granville Street reminds me a lot of Vegas. It really does. It reminds me of great streets in Europe, in Dublin, in Galway, where I'm from, because I know those areas. Shop Street in Galway, they're fun, but we need more arts, we need more culture, we need more cool public spaces. We need to allow businesses to spill out onto the sidewalks.
Yeah.
Like in Galway, for example, it's phenomenal when you walk down Shop Street. It's pedestrianised, and you got people busking, playing music, doing tricks, and everybody gathers around and they're singing and dancing, and the culture is just phenomenal. People, little pubs, bars, cafe, bistros, whatever they may be, they're allowed to put, a couple of tables, a few chairs out on the sidewalk without having to get permits, without having to spend all this money. They just put them out at the start of business, set them up nicely. People notice that, there's a nice little pub there, there's a nice little bistro there, and they will go in there, or they'll sit outside. And just by doing small little things like that, that won't cost any money, we can make some huge changes, I think. Hanging up some flowers, getting the right lighting, putting up some nice signage.
Yeah.
But I think we've got opportunity as well with the World Cup coming, right? Is to can we do some pilot projects with the city, say, okay, we're going to ease up this permitting process for the World Cup, right?
Yeah.
Because like we said, there's going to be so many people here, and you know the opportunity and that businesses have is phenomenal, and especially you know in hospitality, you know there was a lot of hurting over the years with COVID and everything else. So you know, giving those operators the best chance for them to make a bit of money and make able the sun shines, you know, is going to be really important. So I think we've an excellent opportunity to try this out. And like William said, you know, in Europe we do it all the time. You see it everywhere. And my hometown, I just came back in August from there's a huge traditional Irish music festival that happens every year, and it was in my hometown this year.
Cool.
It's like 850,000 people came through our town over the week. It's nuts. And our town is like 20,000 people, so you can only imagine. But they like for the whole festival, the whole town, you can get your beer in any pub, you can walk around the street with it, you can go to the next pub with it, you know, and it's fine. You know, I think there just needs to be a little bit more trust in people here. Yeah. That people will behave themselves. You'll always have the odd few that won't, but that's just part and parcel of life. So I think just giving the public a little bit more trust and that they can behave themselves as adults, I think is something that we need to focus on as well.
I always thought that was so interesting about Europe. Like in Italy, well, it's pedestrianized for the most part during the day and night, but you can take your beer or whatever and you can literally walk around the street and like go to another pub or go to another restaurant with a drink from another place, and it's just a more social atmosphere.
You can do it in Vegas, like, and I refer to Vegas because, you know, I love going there. It's fun. You know, you can go from one casino to the other with your beer. In Galway, where we're from, Laura and myself, it's the same there. If you want to leave one bar or restaurant and go to another, they'll give you a plastic cup to go. So you say, you know, I want to go, and there's somebody standing at the door, and they'll pour it into a plastic cup. But you can walk up the street with your plastic cup and have your beer. You know, it's not a crime. You're not going to do any harm to anybody. No. You know, you're walking up the street having a drink. In my opinion, no difference to having a coffee or having a Coca-Cola. Why can we not just take that beer and finish it as we go up the street, take our plastic cup, put it in the bin, and no harm is done. But it's kind of paralysis by analysis, I see a bit here. We overthink and overcomplicate a lot of things, in my opinion, and all we have to do is look at the places that are very, very successful. You know, Granville is our main street. Look at the main streets in Paris. I was in Paris recently, just like you said. Vegas, you know, Temple Bar in Dublin, Shop Street in Galway. They all do the same thing. It works. Why can't we do it here? Yeah, literally, why can't we do it here? I have no clue. I wish I had the answer. So with all of this said, what is your vision for Granville Street in 5 years? What would you like it to look like in your perspective?
Obviously, with the Granville Street plan that's been approved, like, that's amazing. It's obviously more of a longer term play. But yeah, I mean, I think a big thing for me, I love going to different music events and shows. So I think seeing more arts and culture and possibly outdoor spaces where we can host, you know, whether it's a little show for 100 people, who cares, right? But having more arts and culture and live shows and things like that on, I mean, at the end of the day, it's an entertainment district, so it needs to have stuff like that. You know, we have excellent venues at the moment, you know, that have been around for a long time, like the Commodore and the Vogue and place like that. So like more of that, I think would be great. You know, whether we have it fully pedestrianised, partly pedestrianised, I think that's a whole different conversation to have. And there's lots to think about. But yeah, I think definitely having it somewhat pedestrianised, I think will work for sure. I think, you know, even years ago, when I first came Granville Street on a Friday night and Saturday night, they used to close off like just 3 blocks.
I remember that.
And even that was great. Like it used to be so much fun, and you know, hopefully, you know, just taking small steps, maybe bring that back and see if it works, right? But I think down the line, I think that's what I'd love to see, and just it being the hub, because I know like over the last number of years, like when you talk to people, some people just don't even want to go down to Granville Street anymore, right? And it's kind of got that little bit of a name, and it's definitely gotten better recently, but there's definitely a bit of work to do. But I think it needs to be that destination where people go, okay, I want to go, you know, have some fun, see some entertainment, go to a bar, go to whatever, let's go to Granville Street. That it needs to be the spot where everybody wants to go, right? Because we don't want Vancouver to fall behind Burnaby and Surrey, and they're making moves, right? They're doing a lot.
Time,
so we got to keep up with those guys as well. But I think partially pedestrianised, lots of live entertainment would be my ideal scenario, and just creating a really nice, safe space for people to come and enjoy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I agree with Aaron. Pedestrianising Granville Street, I think, is a must. I also think, yes, we do a little bit of development, but I'm not someone who's, thinks we should be allowed to develop wherever we want and let's just go developing left, right and centre. Absolutely not. But as I said, Granville Street is it's our main street in the city. We're one of the top cities in the world. When you walk down Granville Street, you see these small little old buildings that are falling apart. They're single-story buildings. It's crazy, really.
Yeah.
So I think we got to bring in the right partners to put little land assemblies together, to build new buildings, put in new hotels, mixed-use buildings with the right mix of tenants is very important, and good tenants. Your Starbucks, tenants that are going to do a really good job
and be there for a long time.
Yeah. And exactly. We don't want it to be like a revolving door. These, when I walk down Granville Street right now, I see some businesses there, and they're selling liquor for like $3 a shot, and it's not even legal. What's going on? But they're hurting the other businesses that are there, and in a few years they won't be there. So just they're causing harm. They're not doing any good. So getting the right tenants in there.
Right.
I think with the developments, we need to have residential too. And I know that's been a very touchy subject for the city for a number of years. And I have a lot of friends who run businesses on Granville Street, and they say absolutely not, no residential. And I can see why, because when their customers are lining up to go into their venues, they've had issues with the wrong residents being above them and throwing down syringes on top of them and throwing down glass and urinating on top of them. These things have happened. It's crazy.
It's awful.
And then it's killing their business, and they've been doing business on Granville Street for 20 years.
Yeah.
So it's very sad to see that, and I can see why they're so frustrated. But I think having the right residential on Granville Street is essential.
Yeah.
Imagine for our workforce, I think about our workers. This is a walkable city. If they can live and work in the same area, wouldn't that be fabulous? And not just, families too. I used the example yesterday on the panel about the hotel football in Manchester. I went there recently and brought our son, and it was so much fun. On the rooftop, they have a small little AstroTurf. So you could go up there with your kids, and they can play football with the other kids, and they're having the time of their life. They want to stay there forever, and you can have a glass of wine, or you can have a beer, or you can have a glass of Coke. It doesn't matter.
Cute.
But
that's in the middle of Manchester.
It's in the middle of Manchester.
Wow.
Why can't we do something like that? And it was something I was seriously considering for Donnellan's, but it might not be big enough our lot. But rooftop patios. That had a roof on it, which is a good idea.
Yeah.
I considered putting a rooftop patio on Donnellan's, and I went up there one day to scope it out, and people started throwing stuff at me while I was on the roof. That's a true story. So I said, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Imagine bringing your kids to Donnellan's and going up onto the rooftop patio and letting them play on the AstroTurf.
Yeah.
And, having a bit to eat and a few drinks before you go down to watch the World Cup or the Whitecaps playing, and then maybe come back there again afterwards. How much fun would that be?
So fun.
Those are the kind of things we need to bring to the city.
I think, people over here maybe don't. In Ireland, like it was pretty common, especially when I was growing up, and I'm sure William as well, is like you just go to the pub with your parents.
Yeah.
Right? And like it was just a normal thing to do. We don't see a lot here. Like we see it a bit in our pubs, so maybe we're a little bit different, but it's quite a common thing, I think, in Ireland and across Europe as well, because at the end of the day, like a pub is just it's just a gathering place, really. It's like a community centre almost for people just to go and hang out and socialise and having your kids there, keep an eye on them, let them run around.
Yeah.
And so I think, getting the whole family involved, like, it's not just an entertainment district for people to go party, right? It's getting everybody involved. Yeah.
And daycares,
Yeah, we need more.
We need more daycares. Let's bring some more daycares to Granville Street. So the possibilities are endless. I just think we need to engage the right partners.
Yeah, big time. Completely agree.
Yeah. And you know what I've seen?
thought I just had was recently I was at a few of the festivals. Let's say Kids Fest and Catsalano, and they have these small little temporary stages.
Yeah.
Like, why not set up a few of those on Granville Street?
I agree.
Then you have your buskers or your musicians or your entertainers. They're in a specific area, and on a little stage. And I think something like that would work really well.
I think like when you guys obviously you put on the Granville Block Party every year, and like that's great to see, and it brings a lot of energy to the to Granville Street. So I think if you can replicate that year round, that'd be amazing, right? The full length of Granville Street, just kind of having all those people around, and it just brings good energy to the city, right? So
and I think by having residential on Granville Street, it's built in customers for the businesses. And not just that, but even more importantly, I think it would make Granville Street extremely safe, because now these residents are your ambassadors.
Right.
They live in the area. We're all very proud of where we live, and if something is happening that shouldn't be happening in that area, we're going to address that, whether it be confront that person or those people, or whether it be we got to call the VPD. This shouldn't be happening. But people. Residential will bring safety to Granville Street, I have no doubt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it proves that when more people are in a certain area, the perception of safety increases, and safety probably does increase. I guess some people's reservations might just be that an entertainment district is not the home for people, or it's not historically what entertainment districts are. And maybe the residents would have issues with the noise, but to your point, I guess if you're moving into an entertainment district,
exactly,
you have to,
you know what you're
signing up for.
And I think all the construction technology these days have advanced so much, over the last 20 years. So you can build apartment blocks now that really mitigate sound.
Absolutely.
So you just have to do it the right way. There's right ways to do it and wrong ways to do it. But like you said as well, like if you're moving into a entertainment district, you've got to expect noise. In Toronto,
exactly.
And there's like a certain area in downtown Toronto where like you're not allowed. Like if you ring in with a noise complaint, they won't accept it. Like there is no noise bylaw in a certain area.
Oh,
I can't remember what street it is, but
district.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But our noise levels have to be kept to a certain level anyway. So often inspectors will come and say, you got to bring down the sound a little bit because it's a bit loud outside on the street. So we already addressed that, and we have those controls in place. So I don't think it'd be an issue for residential that might be 10 stories up or 20 or 30 stories up. We can go 40 stories now on Granville Street.
Wow.
And let's say you have Donnellan's Irish Pub. You could have office space above that. You could have a gym. You'll have a separation. And then you have your residential above that. There won't be any issues with noise.
Right.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Buildings will have aircon. Maybe the windows will be, they won't be able to open, which would probably be a safety thing too. I think they should be fixed. And I think it could work. And I think it would work really well.
Well, I guess we're going to have to see what happens.
We're going to have to see what happens. Yeah.
So with the World Cup coming next year, what, if you can share, do you have plans? IRL Group, are you going to be doing anything fun for Ireland? Do they play in the World Cup?
We don't want to talk about that. It's not looking great, but we're still not completely out of the qualifiers yet. But we've had a bit of a rough start. The last probably 10 plus years
it's like Italy too.
It's been tough for Irish football, to be totally honest. But we're still hoping that we've an unbelievable fan base. So if they do get in, it'll be crazy, we definitely have plans to do as much as we can, to bring that to downtown, to Gastown, wherever it might be in and around the city. I know the organising committee have their fan zone out in the P&E, which I'm sure will be amazing, but it's a little bit further out. So I think having something in and or close to the stadium, I think is a must, right? Yeah. So myself and William own a mobile bar business called The Wandering Tap, and we do lots of festivals and stuff with that. So our plan is to get that out into a space, have a big watch party, whatever that looks like. To do that, there's a lot of applications and licensing that you need to do with FIFA in particular, and those applications aren't being released until Q4. So that could be next week, it could be next month. We're not really too sure yet.
Interesting.
So you have to apply if it's going to be over 1,000 people, if it's going to be ticketed, sponsored. There's lots of different criteria. But yeah, I mean, I think for us, we want to do as much as we can, right?
Yeah.
I think everybody in hospitality is going to be in the same boat. And I think just looping back to what I said earlier, we need to give those hospitality locations a little bit of leeway as well, whether that's putting, patios that are attached to their building, it's taking up a sidewalk, but so be it, let's close down Granville Street and let that be the sidewalk, just I think making some small changes like that is going to be important for people to make the most of it. But yeah, I'm buzzing for it anyway. I love soccer.
Me too.
Yeah, I really can't wait. And it's such a huge thing, and to have it here in your own city is
insane.
Yeah,
I never thought that I would be living in a city hosting the World Cup.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
But we'll stick to our knitting. We
Yeah.
won't get distracted by too many shiny objects. We have 7 locations at the moment. So, I think if we focus on them and we're well prepared and we do a good job, that'll be a great outcome for us.
Soon to be 8.
Yeah, soon to be 8. We're opening another location right by BC Place, actually. Literally 100 foot
No
from the stadium.
way.
So
that'll be great.
Congrats.
we've got to make sure we get the doors open for the World Cup. And that's going to be very exciting. Yeah, another Shamrock Storehouse. That's number 3. And I think you know about our plan there. We have a plan to open up 300 Shamrock Storehouses across Canada by 2030. So we're going to franchise that concept, which is a small little Irish pub concept. Think of it like a Starbucks, 1,500 square foot.
Cute.
Very simple menu. Very traditional Irish pub, low ceilings, a bit cozy. Dancing, live music.
Love.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're very excited about that. So we're starting to roll that out at the start of next year.
Wow, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
So will it be open at the start of next year or just rolling it out?
So we have a Shamrock Storehouse already on Davy and Denman, 1185 Denman, and we have one in Dunbar, the Dunbar area. So Dunbar and 29th.
Nice.
Used to be the old bells and whistles there. And the 2 of them are doing really, really well. So this will be our 3rd corporate store right by BC Place. It's 837 Beatty. So it's basically across the street from the Boston Pizza there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great location.
It's a great location, yeah. So very excited about it. Those will be our 3 corporate stores, and then we're going to roll out our franchises starting early next year. We have a number of people who want to open up a franchise of a Shamrock Storehouse. So
if anybody's looking,
anybody.
Yeah, seriously.
So it's a great model. We've spent a long time putting this together, and we've opened up 10 locations, and we've kept tweaking things, and they've been from anything from 50 seats to 300 seats, and we've been testing and tweaking all the time to basically create the perfect Irish pub. And our market research told us, just for the record, that there's room in Canada for 1,000 of these locations. So we're going to start with 300.
Yeah, maybe start small.
Yeah, just 300.
300 is not even small. That's a lot.
We'll have about 32 in the Lower Mainland. Yeah.
Wow.
Then we'll go to Ontario and Alberta and roll it out across Canada.
Wow. That's going to be amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I guess in your opinion and in your perspective, how can other hospitality and nightlife businesses in downtown Vancouver on Granville Street prepare themselves to make the most out of the World Cup next year? Do you have any advice?
I think just get involved and stay updated. In fairness to the organising committee in Vancouver that are for the World Cup, they're sending out a lot of communication. You guys are sharing it as well, which is great. So I think keeping in the loop and keeping in the know is really important, and don't miss out on important dates and milestones. There was another call yesterday, another webinar yesterday, about specifically for businesses in for the World Cup, and they had lots of great information there that some business might not necessarily know about. So I think keeping in the know and keeping in the loop is really important, because the last thing you want to do is miss out on an important date for an application or whatever it might be.
For sure.
So I think that's really important, and there's lots of resources out there, and some people might not just know about them, but the information's out there. So I would just recommend, making sure to talk to lots of people. I mean, if you know people that have been in a similar situation where they've ran a bar or a restaurant in a major city when there was a major event, of course they're going to give you lots of advice too, right? And I think we're lucky that we know lots of people like that too. So, everybody's probably going to make some small mistakes, but that's just part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just keeping in the know and making sure that everybody's putting their best foot forward, and talk to your neighbors. I think for us, we'll it's not like they're a competitor across the street, but you need competition. You need if you're doing well, we're going to do well, and vice versa, right? So I think just everybody working together is
Well, everything was a little bit up in the air, I feel like, for a while. Like there wasn't any regulations or rules from FIFA up until about a month ago with the activation playbook. So
that's right. Yeah,
it's good that they finally
put
that out into the universe.
No longer in the dark.
Yeah,
but I agree with Aaron. I think preparation and planning.
Yeah,
the proper planning. It's essential. Just be ready. June 13th is when it's all going to start. So early June. Be ready and have fun. Enjoy it. I think that's very important too. It's going to be probably the greatest month of our lives. I'm so excited for it. Like yourselves, I just can't believe that it's coming to the city that we're so lucky to live in here. And I think it's going to be great. It's going to do so much good for Vancouver. And I'm really looking forward to it and proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. It's going to be such a great opportunity. So you have a very strong community focus. How do you ensure that your work uplifts local voices, local businesses, people in the community?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think since I joined IRL, and even before I joined IRL, like I'd known William and Laura essentially since I moved here, because I mentioned we played on the same sports team. And even when I moved over first, like you would always see that it was William and Laura that were sponsoring a lot of like the local sports teams and organizations in the city. And then when I joined IRL, I was like, holy crap, they give back a lot. So it's amazing to be part of an organization like that. And we were actually Laura actually hosted, she was a moderator for a panel that William was also on the other day, and it was all about business and community and kind of giving back.
Nice.
And I think somebody asked the question, they're like, does IRL choose one organization and like focus all their efforts on that, or do you give to like lots of organizations? And like the answer is like we give to lots of organizations, and we try to help out as many as we can. We get lots of requests every week, and I think we just try to help as much as we possibly can. But yeah, as I said, it's great to be part of an organization that does that, but it's definitely a big passion for William and Laura.
Yeah. I guess Aaron said it, we will entertain any proposal. We have a very simple form if you're looking for support or sponsorship. Fill out this application. We'll bring it to our weekly executive committee meeting. And if everybody agrees, Kate, this is the right thing to do, we'll start conversations. I don't even know how many groups we're involved with at the moment, but it's north of 100 for sure.
Wow.
And they vary in all sizes. We've done some very big sponsorships and we've done some small sponsorships, but it doesn't matter. We just like to support and work with good people. It's as simple as that. We do stuff with Don't Go Hungry, The Door Is Open, where we'll feed the people in the downtown east side on the street. And
Nice.
we really enjoy that kind of stuff. The Vancouver Food Bank will go there on team bonding sessions.
Yeah, we give our employees like volunteer days and stuff to
Oh,
do stuff
wow.
like that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Last year, Laura and myself were in Ireland at Christmas time, and a bunch of our team went to The Door Is Open and fed like 350 or 400 people on Christmas Day.
Wow, that's
volunteered
lovely.
their time to do that because they were, they wanted to do that. Well, it was just so powerful, and everybody enjoyed it.
That's
So
great.
yeah, we like that. The Vancouver Rotary has been.
Yeah.
We joined that probably almost 2 years ago, and there's weekly meetings, and we're very involved there, and we really enjoy that
Committees
too.
and
The Ride for Hearing, they do such great work. The Vancouver Rotary Club, just one example of so many great things they do. They're donating $5 million to the new St. Paul's Hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, to the Hearing Foundation there. So they made that commitment. They said,
Yeah.
if we raise this much, will ye raise this much? And they said, we will. And we did. And
Wow.
we're going to do it. We're on track. So
That's great.
it's incredible the work they do.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for everything that you do for the community.
You're very welcome.
That's
We're
great.
happy to be
Yeah.
involved and blessed that we're able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the past, you've worked with the Children's Hospital, Vancouver Pride. Are there any upcoming community sponsorships or initiatives in the works?
Yes, there's always stuff in the works. As Aaron said, we get applications on a weekly basis. I got 2 this morning before I came here
Wow.
at 10 a.m. Yeah, true story. You know, you can't help everybody. I have been told I'm generous to a fault, and we give away most of our profit, and that's for sure. But I think helping people helps us a lot, and it makes us feel good, and it's just it feels like the right thing to do. It's in line with our core values, and we'll always do that. My mum told us when we were kids, it's very important to give back and help others, and don't expect anything in return, because if you do, it's not really giving. And she said the best time to give is when it's hardest, when you don't have it. Because, you know, if you have $1 billion, it's easy to give, you know, then. But when you don't, giving is really giving. And that always stood with me.
Yeah.
And it's been a pillar of our business since day one.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah. I think with the Rotary as well, we're always doing something with the Rotary. Like both of us are on like the International Service Committee with the Rotary Club, which essentially works on different projects around the world, mainly focused on like water, sanitation, and children. And typically at the start of every year, we choose. There's lots of applications again that come in, but we only have a certain amount of funds to use, and we typically pick it's like 6 to 8 projects. So I decided to jump in on a project that focuses on preventing human trafficking in Vietnam.
Wow.
So like there's lots of really interesting and worthwhile projects through the Rotary Club that we're kind of always working on.
Wow, that's great.
As well, yeah.
Well, I feel like all of these great things that you do for your organization and other organizations is what made you Downtown Van's outstanding individual this year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What does receiving that award mean to you?
That is a huge honour. I mean that. Probably the greatest award I've ever received. I've been blessed to get some really big awards, but if you look at past recipients, the mayor and Ian Gillespie, one of the greatest developers probably in North America, I was shocked. The first thing I done was ask Darren.
I was down in California. I got a text. He's like, "Did you send me? Did you do this?" I was like, "No." I was like, "That was in your own. I was on your own merit."
That's cute.
Yeah, so when I found out how it all happened in the process, I was very impressed and really honoured. And I must say, and I've said this to our team, I accepted that award on behalf of our team, everybody at IRL, our family, our friends, you know, Downtown Van, all the great support we've got over the years. We have been very lucky in life, Laura and myself. As I said in my acceptance speech, we were lucky to be born into a good family in Ireland. You know, we didn't have a lot, but we had a lot of love, and we were taught to do the right thing from a young age. I was lucky to end up with the wife that I have, Laura, who has been, you know, my pillar for a long, long time, and a great supporter. And we were, number 3, we were very lucky to end up in Vancouver. This was not part of our plan. I never thought I would live outside of Ireland. Never.
Really?
Yeah. And we went traveling for, 6 months on a 1-year visa. And the plan was to go to Toronto, where we knew a lot of people. We didn't know one person in Vancouver. I didn't even know where Vancouver was. I knew it was in Canada. I didn't realize
Where?
Canada was so big. Yeah, and it was so far away from Toronto. I was thinking, we'll go to Vancouver and we'll pop over to Toronto. And then a friend of mine said, well, Toronto and Vancouver is as far away as Toronto and Ireland. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then I Googled it, and it said, you can fly in a 747 for 8 hours and still be in Canada. You know?
Yeah.
So it was
crazy.
a real eye-opener for me. And we came here, and as I said, for a month, and we just met such great people at the start of 2009. And we said, let's stay for 3 months, and let's stay for 6 months. And everybody was saying, don't go to Toronto, you don't have the mountains, it's not as beautiful as this, and it's a concrete jungle, they were saying. So we decided to stay here, and it was the best decision we ever made. So, all of these little things, were stepping stones to receiving that award, and I'll always be grateful for that. So thank you.
Well, you're very deserving, and
thanks.
congratulations again. It's funny that you never thought that you would leave Ireland, but you brought Ireland here instead. You can take the boy out of Ireland, but you can't take Ireland out of the boy, right?
It's amazing the timing, how important timing is, isn't it? Because when we came, I'd say we didn't meet a handful of Irish people for 6 months. And now you know yourself, if you walk out the door there, you can hardly go a block without meeting an Irish person.
Yes.
So timing is very important. And with us in the hospitality industry and the construction, the Irish are renowned for being great trades. And actually, that's a bit sad because a lot of them are leaving Ireland. They're going to Canada. They're going to the UK. They're going to Australia, New Zealand, Dubai. Most of my friends are, people in our area from the age of 20 to 35 have left and went and immigrated. So, it'll affect Ireland for years to come.
Yeah.
But they have went and made great lives for themselves elsewhere, and that's lovely to see.
Yeah, for sure. So what does the future look like for IRL Group right now? What is there anything big and exciting coming up other than the expansion of your pubs?
Aaron will tell you there what's going on.
There's always lots going on, I suppose. But I think our big focus for sure is the Shamrock Storehouse franchise. There's a lot of work that's gone in. There's a lot of work ahead. As William mentioned, we have pretty aggressive growth plans for that model. So, a big focus is going to be on building that brand up and opening as many stores as quickly as possible, really. Other exciting opportunities, we recently took over Geo Cider, which is based up in Squamish. So that's new and exciting, and it's a great product, and we're excited to kind of get involved and really start growing that business as well. And it's a little bit different, right? It's kind of they're all kind of under the hospitality umbrella, but it's more a little bit more obviously on the manufacturing side. So for me, every day I'm learning lots in IRL.
Yeah, no kidding.
But I love that part of my job, right?
Yeah.
One day it's dealing with construction, next minute it's the pubs, it's the cidery, it's the development. There's always a lot going on, but we always have stuff going on. But I think the biggest project right now would probably be the Shamrock Storehouse, right?
Yeah, probably. Vanway Properties is our development company, and there's big plans there too. The construction has always been our parent company, and we're very lucky that we have the capacity to, when we take on a new space, a new pub, we can build it out ourselves, and we can save a lot of time, and we can save a lot of money. That's a huge advantage. I remember Ron Orr saying to me, I wish I was you. I met him at a bar watch meeting. He's like, I wish I was you. If I was to do it all over again, I'd do what you're doing, because he said it's a great advantage to be able to build out your own spaces, which it is.
Yeah.
One example, we took over a space where we put in our second Shamrock Storehouse, and I think it was 3 months or 4 months.
6 weeks.
Was it?
6 weeks.
So,
we opened from when we got the keys to when
probably.
we renovated and got it open. We got it mid-October and we were open December 1st.
Wow.
So less than 2 months.
So
Working hard.
that was a record. I don't think we'll ever beat that. But
Yeah.
but that goes to show, we can move quick.
For sure.
Yeah, we worked morning, noon, and night, and we didn't. We done a pretty big renovation there. It wasn't like we just came in and painted the place. We, put in everything was new equipment, kitchens. We had to fix up the keg room. The structure was there, but that's what we can do, and that's a huge advantage because time is money, and the longer you are trying to open your place, the riskier it gets.
Yeah.
I just sometimes I tell the story of when we opened up Granville, Donnellan's on Granville Street. 2016, we started the renovation. It went on for almost 2 years. We were paying $25,000 a month on rent. So if you do the calculations there, I think we spent about $500,000 on rent.
Oh my God.
I've seen so many places on that block and along Granville Street during that time, trying to get through the permit process, trying to get a builder to come in and do the work for them. And they put all their savings into opening their business, and they never got to open their doors, and it was so sad.
Yeah.
And look, at one point we were kind of thinking, how are we going to get our doors open here? How can we do this quicker? And we had a crew going during the day and a crew going during the night.
Wow.
And if I wasn't there all day, I would be there most of the day to make decisions. I would be there through the night, running the cruise because I had to make the decisions. And we invested everything into that first location. And I remember Laura saying to me, what'll happen if it doesn't work, And I was thinking, I don't know what to say. But thankfully, I was able to encourage her, look, this is the right thing. And thankfully, when we opened the doors, it was a huge success.
Yeah.
People loved the fact that we were Irish. We had run pubs in Ireland and come from that background, and now we're doing it here in Vancouver. So
I used to be there 3 days a week. This was before I worked for IRL. This is before I worked for IRL. I used to be there 3 days a week.
Big fan. It's always good to hire your
but
fans.
like now it's so popular, and I have been in airports in different cities in the world, and I have heard people talking about who are getting on the same flight as me to go back to Vancouver, talking about Donnellan's.
Oh, that's so great.
It's so cool. Yeah. So we don't know what'll happen. It's a very old building, but I can safely say there'll always be a Donnellan's on Granville Street.
Okay, thank God. For a second, I was like, please don't leave. We need you. Oh, that's wonderful. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you wish that I did? Or is there anything else that you want to leave our listeners with today?
One thing I would like to say is, this is an amazing city. And I just would ask everybody out there to be the greatest ambassador that they possibly can be for this city, and in particular for places like Granville Street, Gastown, the West End. I really think there's no better city in the world to live in, and we're blessed to be here. In my opinion, it's clean, it's safe, it's beautiful. I've never had an issue in 17 years. Nothing too serious anyway. Every major city has their problems, but it's been a tough few years.
Yeah.
With the pandemic, and now with what's going on in the US and the tariffs, and it's not been easy for anybody. But if we're all rowing in the same direction, I have no doubt that we will see very, very good times really soon. And I think as soon as the World Cup, and when we're on that high, we need to just kick on
Keep going,
and build
absolutely.
from that.
I mean, that happened with the Olympics. I feel like after 2010, Vancouver was just like, everyone wanted to come back. Everyone wanted to visit. So I hope it's the same for the World Cup.
And look at kudos to everybody that worked on the Granville Street plan.
Yeah.
Because I think it's really, really good. There might be a few little things that need to be changed here or there, but that took a lot of work. And I would just like to thank them for that.
Amazing.
Everybody involved.
Yeah, us too. And you heard it here first. Two Granville Street champions and business owners, come to Granville Street, please.
Yeah, absolutely. It is such a great place.
Yeah.
And it'll be back to its former glory.
Yes.
100% and better.
Absolutely. Well, thank you both so much for coming on the podcast. It was great to have you.
You are very welcome.
Thanks for having us.
For
Appreciate
inviting
it.
us.
Thank
We
you.
really enjoyed it.
Me too. Thank you for listening to Hey Downtown Van. We really hope you enjoyed today's conversation with William and Aaron. If you'd like to learn more about our organization and all that we do, you can visit our website, dtvan.ca, or follow along with the podcast at Hey Downtown Van.